All right, guys, how you doing? Rethink TV. We're here with
No, don't edit. No editing.
I like that. Most people get
no
to the
edit.
stop.
One take.
One take. This guy is a legend. Like, honestly, tell us what your business is and you know who you are now.
Yeah, well, primarily, I mean, right now I'm at a bit of a crossroads. Maybe I'm rethinking.
Come closer. I like this.
But what I'm saying is, historically, up until now, for the last maybe decade or so, I've been helping real estate agents do better.
Nice.
Do better business, serve their areas better, make more money for their end user, the people selling homes. And by me helping them do so, of course, those home sellers make more money. And of course, those real estate agents live better business lives.
Absolutely.
The traditional real estate agent, when I was taught it, was make these cold calls, annoy my community, beg for listings, beg for sales, and essentially it was a horrible life. I went and studied. I traveled the world. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on conferences just like this one. In fact, some of the mentors that I search worldwide, I begged to come to my conference here today.
Nice.
And in order to find a way that instead of having to make those bloody cold calls, that I could get them to call me. Just a very simple shift I wanted, because out of every 200 or 300 people I'd speak to, there'd be 5 or 6 that were half interested in talking to me. I wanted to avoid the 290 frickin' 4 that had no interest in talking to me. And the minute I picked up the phone and they heard, "Hi, it's Glenn Twiddle here from," I could feel their energy wanting to run away. You know what I mean? That if I was physically face to face with them and I was saying what I was saying, you could tell they'd be there going, "Thanks." You know what I mean?
Yeah, come back, man, come back.
So I learned that skill, and historically that's what I've taught real estate agents to do, is brand themselves as a rock star in their area, famous, so that when my real estate agents walk down the street, literally their community stops them, shakes their hand, and feels like they're in the presence of a star.
Yes.
But I tell you, this Westie has done some pretty incredible stuff. Hire in one 12-month period.
Listen to this.
Hiring to work for, in some ways, now I know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Richard Branson, they choose who they work for, when they work for, what they do or whatever. But in essence, I hired and had working for me, Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of my, the term employee is wrong, right? But working for me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Richard Branson, John McGrath, Eric Thomas, the world's elite. And they're working for me. It's crazy. And of course, at this conference, Gary Vaynerchuk, unbelievable. He just went from 22 hours to get here, 27 hours to get home, and Gary V's coming to spend a couple of hours with my business, making my business better.
Yeah, I know. Let's get to the rethink moment. You told me you're a rock star. You've supported choir boys.
Yeah, we
back
used to,
in
the rock star is using the term
come on.
I used to professionally play music, let's just say. No, even the word professional's wrong. People used to pay me to play guitar, right? That's as far as I'll go. I used to do covers at the pubs of Copperhead Road and K-San and Queen, and not that I could sing like Freddie, So I make a $500 to $1,000, $1,500 a week. But what did I do during the day? Who knows? Nothing.
You don't even
so
know.
I got into real estate. A friend of mine got me into real estate. Said, "What are you doing with your weeks?" And I said, "I should be practicing, but I'm not." So I got into real estate, and I hated the cold calls, but I did it as a hobby. And in my first year, I did make slightly more in real estate than I did in music. So the thing that was my hobby, the real estate became the living, and the music became again the hobby.
Cool.
As I went forward.
So what was the moment that you went, I'm going to do real estate? What was that moment? Like, were you sitting there going, "I need more money," or was it just money?
It was. I said to my mate, I should be practicing and making my music career better if it's going to be my career, but I'm not. So I'll go mess around with you in real estate. There was no moment where I kind of had an epiphany. What I did was I minimised the risk because I was using variable, disposable hours. Right? My disposable hours were going away. I just gave those disposable hours to something maybe half productive, instead of just playing PlayStation, watching Oprah and do nothing, So I learned from Richard Branson, working up close and personal with him. One of his things is he manages the downside very well. What was my downside? Nice. I lose a few hours.
Exactly.
That's a good risk. We learn that from Gary V as well. He always says, okay, even if you've got to drudge out a day's work, 7-8 hours of working, you've still got from 4-5 p.m. till midnight or 1 a.m. to pursue your passion and eventually maybe monetize it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I did. But instead of working 9 to 5, I was lucky enough that I didn't have to work 9 to 5. I work weekend nights, so I could invest my disposable hours, which were my weekdays. Wow. Whereas for the average everyday Australian, their disposable hours that they could invest in whatever it is that might be their passion, or just another source of income, or a new learning, or a new skill like real estate or whatever it is, like I did. They'd have to do it the other way around. They've got to work during the week, and they've got from 5 p.m. till 1 a.m., 5 nights a week. They've got all weekend in order to hone their new skills to make their fortune.
So that, for me, is a brilliant way of thinking, because you knew you had all this spare time, and what am I going to do with it? Where most people would have sat around doing nothing. Playing PlayStation. Play
Call of Duty.
Absolutely.
You know?
Call of Duty.
Have you ever seen that? You get on the rankings on the global internet scale, and you're number 289,000 in the world, and you give yourself a pat on the back.
This man motivates his son as well. You helped him start his first business
to
pay for his first PlayStation.
He did. He bought a PlayStation 3 with his own money because he started a soap company. And
How cool is that?
Yeah, they covered $300 cash to pay for their own PlayStation 3.
What I'm trying to get to, I guess, next, I know one of your mentors is actually in there now
he's in there speaking, absolutely. I bet one of however many, one of hundreds, I would say. Probably a dozen key ones, but yeah.
Because I've just started this journey in the last 2 years. I've started doing the mentoring. I did Tony Robbins, and I've done all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I devoured Tony. My first ever speaking gig, because now in some ways I'm a professional, but not very professional. I'm a speaker who gets paid to speak. But I'm the most unprofessional version of a speaker ever. But my first ever talk in front of human beings was essentially the Tony Robbins tribute show. Because word for word, I listened to Tony so much that I just word for word did his 10-step objection handling funneling formula thing. He's got this 10-step thing where you ignore it, you feed it back, you do all this stuff, right? And I learnt it off by heart. And this is 15 years ago maybe. And it was the first talk I'd ever done. And I just modelled Tony.
Nice.
I go, wow. You know, like those bands, like you got the Kiss tribute band or the whatever, the Bon Jovi tribute. All they do is play a Bon Jovi show, but it's not Bon Jovi. That was me. Nice. I was the Tony Robbins tribute band.
That's awesome. Honestly, because I do the Hour of Power every morning. Well, not every morning, whenever I can.
Wow,
and whenever I'm actually,
Tony's the man.
Whenever I get stressed out a little bit, you know where to go back to. Get up in the morning, go for a walk.
Absolutely.
Gratitude, you know, get your mind thoughts correct.
My version of that historically over the years, I've stuck with it. Without, not so much. I kind of felt, I don't know, probably just me being a freak, but my version of the Hour of Power is the walk, and I haven't been doing it lately. I've been so busy, which is I tell you, getting real with this, with the crew, carrying too much weight. I'm going to get back to that discipline because historically I would walk for an hour. I would listen to professional development, so I'm helping my shape. I'm starting my day off right. 5 in the morning, walking, exercise. Professional development in the earphones, walking on the beach for an hour. That's my Hour of Power. And I haven't been doing it really for about a year, and that's remiss of me. So I'm back, man.
Oh, catch me
in 3.5 months.
So I guess that's your best book, is your Tony book. What would you pass on to your son? What would you...
Wow.
You're one of your best mentors, because I can tell Tony is...
I tell you, I've got so many, too many to say any one. So what I would say is... The principle would be a lifelong learner. You got to read all of them. There's no one. You know, you can't ask. The question's a little flawed.
Okay, well,
how about there's not one? Because if there's one book that leads to you reading all books, get that book. Right?
That's exactly what I have.
Now, there's the other thing. I hate freaking reading books. I had to discipline myself to read books.
I'm going to give you a hug.
So, I hate reading. Hate reading books, right? Hate them. But I love Audible.
If you were to go back 20 years... and tell yourself something. What would you do?
Just
here we go.
All the shit that happened, don't worry about it. Because if any of that shit, like I used to be a little, low-paid trainer for the Real Estate Institute. When I say low-paid, actually it was quite fairly paid. Because to speak for a living, in fact, I thought I was a genius when I got paid. What I got paid to just talk. How long has this been going on? It's fantastic. So I thought at the time it was quite good. And when they said to me, look, if you're going to keep marketing in a relatively outrageous fashion like you do, a little controversial and all that, because I was saying that most real estate agents, sort of 7 out of 10 of them, will be gone from the industry in 2 years or less. Turnover rate's appalling, and it is. They said, look, we can't have one of our sales trainers out there in the marketplace saying that all the agents we churn out aren't any good, even if it's true. And so that was the end of my world, though. What? I used to speak and get paid, now I don't. I tell you, if I'd have stuck there, I never would have had poker at Arnold Schwarzenegger's house. Absolutely. Or had him work in my business. Or Arnold invited me to his damn house to play poker, right?
You've heard that?
So,
have you heard that?
And I'm now on the list. I'm going again in 2 months in June. So,
wow.
I'm on his annual list. He gets 40 mates.
Oh, right.
Don Cheadle from War Machine from Avengers was there, and there's all these people who were there. I was hanging with all this lot, and so anyway.
Living it up in Vegas.
So,
LA is
every problem that I ever went through that led to that, I would say to my younger self, it'll be okay. And stop eating frickin' double whoppers with cheese. That's it. So let's send this in the YouTube time machine. Enough of the double whoppers with cheese, and everything else is fine.
Everything else is all right. All right. So, do you want to give yourself a plug? What's your website?
Look,
what's your books?
I wouldn't be a marketer's arsehole if I needed to tell anyone where to find me. I mean, first off, for God's sake,
I know.
Right? But that's the thing. People often say, where do you find... If you're a marketer and you can't be found by name alone, you're not a marketer.
Absolutely.
So there's a thing called Google. Google me. You can Facebook me. You can find me everywhere. And that's the point about being an omnipresent marketer in your world, in your niche. You need to be omnipresent. They need to know who the hell you are. You can't be shy about exposure.
No, absolutely. So what's your next steps? What, like your real estate marketing? Are you going something bigger?
I'm dabbling. What I do with real estate agents, I turn them into rock stars, as I said. Make them famous, right? So I'm dabbling with a few clients here who've asked me at this conference who are Gary Vee fans. They want me to do the same for them.
Nice.
So I'm going to experiment with the general business and entrepreneurial world and have a little experiment and see if these principles that hands down I can do in my sleep for a real estate agent will work for a chiropractor, will work for a podcaster, will work for a whatever the business is. Because my contention is if you're the famous version of what you do, Michelle Bridges is a more highly paid personal trainer than a normal personal trainer. Dr. Phil is a more highly paid psychoanalyst than a normal psychoanalyst, right? So my contention is if I can make you famous, you're going to earn more money, you're going to work less, and you're going to have more fun doing so. I certainly am true of that in my little world, and all of my real estate agents, it's certainly true in their little world. And I'm pretty sure that if I can make you the rock star version, the celebrity version, the Michelle Bridges, the John McGrath in the real estate world, etc., then you're going to live a better business life than you currently are. And that's my little experiment right now.
Nice,
so
nice.
I'll minimise the downside. That's the one thing I would say when people are seeing and being inspired by people who are living their childhood dreams like me, with doing some of the things I'm doing. I would say definitely minimise that downside. Like, don't punt the rent. Don't punt the family home. Like, make sure the downside, if it all goes pear-shaped, is acceptable. And with that as the only caveat, give it everything you've got.
Man, you're a legend.
Thanks, man.
Thank you again.
Pleasure.
Rethink TV. Woo, thank you very much.